Welcome to Stick to Sports. I'm Zach Malamud.
And I'm Joey Pulatsky. Today, the Bengals stun the Chiefs. The college football playoff is set, and MLB free agency is in full effect.
Roll it. The Cincinnati Bengals defeated the Kansas City Chiefs 27-24 in a rematch of the AFC Championship game from a year ago. This is the third straight time the Joe Burrow Bengals have beat Patrick Mahomes' Chiefs. After this loss, Kansas City sits in the 2 seed in the AFC. Joey, are the Bengals now the Chiefs' biggest threat in the playoffs?
Zach, I think the Bengals have to be the Chiefs' biggest threat in the playoffs. Joe Burrow, now the only quarterback in the NFL with multiple wins and no losses against Patrick Mahomes. I still absolutely love this Bengals skill group of, you got guys like Joe Mixon, Samaje Perine's been real nice, Higgins, Jamar Chase coming back as well. I think the Bengals are, and I think the Bills are still a good team, but their skill group in my eyes still lacks a running back. They're still not as complete of an offense or as complete of a football team as the Cincinnati Bengals are. And you see the Bengals, especially with Jamar Chase coming back Sunday and now having him for the home stretch in the playoffs, this Bengals team is the team to beat out of the AFC.
I don't think they are the biggest threat. I think the Bills are the team you said there. I think just looking at the Bengals, they're 4-3 on the road. The Bills are 5-2. I think the Bills could win absolutely anywhere if they had to in the NFL. The Bills' defense also allows less points and yards per game. So the Bills' defense, pretty strong. Obviously, Von Miller has to come back for the Bills to be at their peak. But this Bills team is really strong even without Von Miller. And I think Josh Allen's offense could definitely win on the road, especially against a team like the Chiefs that they already beat this year.
I don't know, Zach. I still think about the 13 seconds left.
That's fair.
I just think that in sports, certain guys have certain guys' numbers, whether that be hitters, pitchers, whatever sport it is. Joe Burrow's just got Patrick Mahomes' number, plain and simple to me. The Minnesota Vikings are now 10-2 after a 27-22 win over the New York Jets on Sunday afternoon. Mike White's 369 yards on 57 attempts weren't enough as the Jets went just 3 of 16 on third down to Minnesota's 9 of 18 conversion percentage. Mike White's 2 interceptions were the only turnovers of the day, including a game-sealing pick by Cameron Bynum with 16 seconds left. Braxton Berrios had a costly drop in the end zone late in the fourth, but the result stands as Minnesota is a 10-2 football team. Zach, how legit are the Vikings as we head into Week 14?
The Vikings deserve a huge amount of credit. They are 10-2. Who expected that? But 9 of those wins in one-score games. Absolutely ridiculous. They finished the season at Detroit, versus the Colts, versus the Giants, at Green Bay, and at Chicago. I won't call them contenders just yet. However, looking at it, Philly and Dallas beat them by a combined 64-10. I can't trust Kirk Cousins in the playoffs.
I think the Vikings are a nice regular season team, but you hit it right on the head. You can't trust Kirk Cousins in the playoffs. We know how bad he is in prime time, and all these playoff games are going to be prime time. In the NFC, I still think of the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Giants, and that NFC East right now. Probably all 3 of them are going to make the playoffs. And then you got the Buccaneers, Tom Brady, the NFC South. They don't have the strongest record. They still got to make it, but we know what Tom Brady and the Bucs do in the playoffs. They're still a threat as well.
The New York Giants and the Washington Commanders had a huge NFC East battle this Sunday that ended in a tie. Giants kicker Graham Gano had a chance to win it from 58 yards in overtime, but missed, and the game finished 20-20. New York is the 6th seed in the NFC, while Washington is the 8th seed. Joey, who does this tie hurt more?
This tie, without a doubt hurts the Giants more. With how the Giants were going into this game, well, if we look at the end of the game, at the end of the fourth quarter and in overtime, how Brian Daboll managed the offense and rolling out special teams, he was playing like it was a game that they didn't want to lose as opposed to a game that they wanted to go win. What's made the Giants so successful all year is how gutsy Daboll is as a play caller, knowing the shots to call and when to call them. We saw it at the end, just completely out of nowhere, got extremely cautious. The Commanders now go into the bye week as well. It's like a 20-20 win for the Commanders and a 20-20 loss for the Giants.
It definitely hurts the Giants more. And like you said, Washington goes into the bye week. After the bye week, they play the Giants in Washington. You would have to think probably Washington could win that game if they're even 20-20 on the road in New York. The Giants, besides Washington, have the Eagles twice, at Minnesota, and versus Indy. It's really tough for the Giants to end the season.
Could still see all three NFC East teams get into the playoff, but we'll see. The 49ers dominated the Dolphins Sunday by a final of 33-17 in what was being hyped as a potential Super Bowl matchup. Jimmy Garoppolo went down on the first drive of the game before Brock Purdy led the Niners to points on 5 of 10 drives. We'll save the Jimmy G, Brock Purdy talk for extra innings later with Ben Diamond later in the show, but it was a slow day for the opposing offense as Miami put up just 17 points. Zach, what's to blame with the slow day for the Dolphins offense?
I blame Tua and the offensive line. This is a pure pass-heavy offense. Tua threw for 54%. They let up 3 sacks, the offensive line. Tua had 2 interceptions and a fumble. I mean, San Francisco's defense is the best in football, in my opinion, but what is this Dolphins team without their big players on offense? Their defense is okay, but they let up 33 to San Fran.
See, Zach, coming into this game, coming into this show at least, I had the reason being the run game. Raheem Mostert, I believe, finished with, I want to say it was around 30 yards in the game. Then you add Tua with a fumble and 2 picks. I believe the game's won in the trenches. And obviously, the offensive line didn't open up anything for the Dolphins' run game. And then as well as what we saw there with Tua and the turnovers. Those are the 2 big things that win you games, the turnover battle and winning in the trenches. Dolphins lost them both. Didn't get the run game, didn't get Tua protection. Just lost the football game.
We're going to take a quick break here on Stick to Sports. Up next, we'll recap the weekend of college football and check in on MLB free agency. Stay tuned on WTOP 10.
Shine on that black. Look at the bling. Look at do we got a diamond tester on? Yeah, that's getting bad. Yep.
10 out of 10 recommend on Yelp.
Welcome back to the season finale of Stick to Sports. The college football playoff matchups are officially set. Georgia takes the top spot at 13-0 and will take on number 4 Ohio State in Atlanta. The second-ranked Michigan Wolverines will take on the 3-seeded TCU Horned Frogs in Arizona. Joey, what are your thoughts on these rankings?
Zach, I think the College Football Playoff Committee got it right on the nose. You see there, Georgia and Ohio State, of course, like you just said, matching up. Michigan and TCU as well. I think they made the right play. Alabama was, I thought maybe could have snuck in there at 4 in the sense that both of their losses were close and were on the road, as Ohio State's loss was a blowout. But Ohio State had lost to a very good number 2 ranked Michigan team. I think at the end of the day, I don't see either TCU or Ohio State overthrowing the other team. I think Georgia takes care of Ohio State pretty handily. I think Michigan takes care of TCU. I don't think Tennessee could have gotten either, considering the Hendon Hooker situation and the blowout loss. I think they got this right, and I think it was really the clearest picture we've seen in a long time.
The first three are correct in order: Georgia, Michigan, TCU. But yeah, my problems with Ohio State. I understand just one loss, but their biggest game of the year, they're on their home field against their biggest rival, and they lost by 20 points. They beat Penn State. That was probably their biggest win on the year. But Bama, a much tougher conference, lost 2 games by a combined 4 points.
And on the road.
The Kansas State Wildcats defeated the TCU Horned Frogs in overtime to win the Big 12 championship on Saturday. K-State hit a game-winning field goal after TCU was stuffed at the 1-yard line on 4th down. TCU still ended up as the 3 seed in the playoff, but Joey, did this change your opinion at all on the Frogs?
It did not change my opinion on the Frogs, because plain and simple, I didn't think they were going to get past the 2 seed before this game, and I don't think they're going to get past the 2 seed after this game. Either way, TCU showed some heart. I mean, they played this conference championship game more or less like it was their college football championship, like it was their own personal championship game, I should say. Fell just short. We got to love what you see out of Max Duggan in the post-game presser, showing the emotion, trying to will his team into the Final Four in the postseason picture as well. But no, I didn't think they were going to win before, and I still don't think they're going to win. I think Michigan handles them pretty easily.
I would probably agree with you. It really didn't change too much of my thoughts. I do think Max Duggan, from what I saw in that game, that man is the Heisman. Give him the award. He ran on one drive to tie the game for, I think, about 90 yards, it seemed like. The man was out of breath and falling into the end zone. Unfortunate that they lost in the end. The Utah Utes beat the brakes off the USC Trojans in the Pac-12 championship on Friday night. Utah won 47-24 behind 310 yards and 3 touchdowns by quarterback Cameron Rising. USC dropped 6 spots in the rankings to number 10 and will play Tulane in the Cotton Bowl on January 2nd. Joey, was USC that good in the end?
I don't think they were. I mean, if looking back at their regular season slate, they had a loss to Utah. They had close games with UCLA. I believe they had a close game with Arizona as well. But they were already playing against top 25 teams in very close 10 or less point games. I mean, USC struggled. Caleb Williams wasn't legit the whole time. Giving him a Heisman finalist, don't quite agree with that. But no, I don't think USC was legit the entire time.
I agree with you. The Pac-12 is not the same as the Big Ten or the SEC. USC, like you said, close games. They won 4 games on the road. All of them were by 1 score.
Let's move over to MLB free agency, as the hot stove has been burning these past few days. Justin Verlander signed a 2-year, $87 million contract with the New York Mets to fill the ace role on the second-best team in New York. The 39-year-old has won the AL Cy Young in each of his past 2 full seasons, and now takes his talents to Queens. Zach, is this a step up from Jacob deGrom for the Mets?
I do like you sliding in the second-best team in New York there. But let's look at Justin Verlander's stats in recent seasons. 2019, he had the Cy Young year. 21-6, 2.58 ERA, 300 strikeouts, a couple injuries, Tommy John surgery in 2020 ended his season early, and then 2022, 18-4, 1.75 ERA, 185 strikeouts, and an AL Cy Young award. I don't think this changes the Mets drastically, though. It's kind of a replacement for Jacob deGrom, who couldn't stay on the field too many times, but their lineup still can't score. They need to fix that first.
I think this is just like Jacob deGrom, but you're going to get him for a full 162-game slate. Obviously, the big question for Justin Verlander was how would he be in 2022 after missing 2020 and 2021 with the Tommy John surgery. Bounces back to have a sub-2 ERA and a full 162-game slate. That's insane. Give the guy his money. The ace role on the Mets opened thanks to Jacob deGrom being the first massive domino to fall in free agency as the 4-time All-Star heads south to the Texas Rangers. deGrom's contract is worth 5 years and $185 million and doesn't come as a massive surprise to many, as the Rangers spent $500 million in a day last year to ink Corey Seager and Marcus Semien. Zach, did this move from deGrom surprise you?
So it didn't really surprise me, but the injuries are just bad. He missed the rest of the season in 2021 after July 18th, and then no starts until August 2nd in 2022. His injury history has been brutal, so teams aren't going to pay him top dollar. The Rangers have some solid players, some solid pitching. Now they have an ace. If he could stay healthy, they have an ace.
I think this is unfortunate for the Rangers because with deGrom on the Mets, when he goes down, you still have guys like Max Scherzer, Taijuan Walker was there. For the Rangers, if deGrom goes down, who's your next guy up? John Gray?
John Gray.
Come on. I mean, the wind's going to get taken out of their sails as soon as he goes down. The first big position player signing of the offseason came yesterday as Trey Turner inked an 11-year, $300 million deal to hit baseballs and be fast for the Philadelphia Phillies. Fresh off back-to-back All-Star selections, the shortstop joins a stacked Phillies lineup fresh off a World Series appearance. Zach, if you're an NL East pitcher right now, how terrified are you of this Phillies lineup?
It's pretty daunting. Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, Trey Turner, Rhys Hoskins. The NL East needs to watch out as we see some of Trey Turner's stats in recent years, Joey.
Yeah, 100 RBIs last season. A guy that's been up around 300 or even above it in 2021. I think what how deep this Nationals lineup was in the first place, when you look at Castellanos, Realmuto, Hoskins, Harper, and then you kind of look at the weak spot. Okay, you get down lower in the order. Dakota Scott was there. Gene Segura was there. Trey Turner's going to come in, and this Phillies lineup might be the best in the league, and reunited with Bryce Harper as well. We have to take a quick break, but when we come back, Zach will be joined by Ben Diamond. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the season finale of Stick to Sports.
Hey guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Welcome back to Stick to Sports. It's time for the fast break. Joining me now is Ben Diamond, one of our producers. Ben, what do you have for us tonight?
Early in the San Francisco 49ers 33-17 victory, as Zach and Joey went over earlier in the show, starting quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo broke his foot, taking him out for at least the rest of the regular season. The 8-4 49ers sit atop the NFC West, but will have to rely on the 2022 NFL Draft's Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy, as they look to make a deep playoff run. Purdy threw for 210 yards and 2 touchdowns in the win. Zach, what are your expectations going forward for the 49ers with Purdy at quarterback?
So this is interesting because Brock Purdy is a pretty solid player. I usually, when a team loses their star quarterback, you go in and probably think, okay, it's going to be the worst for them. Now, Brock Purdy, I'm looking at it, he didn't play that bad against the Dolphins team that's in the playoff picture. He had a pretty solid game. Usually these guys turn into pumpkins when they are sitting up there and in that tough spot coming in, a 7th-round pick. This guy looked really good. I think the 49ers will be fine.
Yeah, I agree. I think they'll be fine, especially since defense wins championships, and the 49ers defense is one of the best in the league. They also have a lot of good weapons around Purdy. with Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, and newly acquired, I shouldn't say newly anymore, but Christian McCaffrey to power that offense forward. So I agree. I don't think there's much to be worried about, especially since Jimmy G hasn't really been as much of a factor in wins so far this season. Moving over to the Dallas Cowboys. They did not play their best brand of football through the first 3 quarters of their Sunday Night Football matchup against the Indianapolis Colts. Heading into the fourth quarter up 21-19, the team was able to kick it into gear, scoring 33 points while holding the Colts off the scoreboard to complete the 54-19 rout. Dak Prescott did not play his best, but the highly rated Cowboys defense continued to keep up the pressure on Colts quarterback Matt Ryan, forcing 5 turnovers. With 5 games left and a current 9-3 record, how do you think the Cowboys will end the season?
So the Cowboys have their home game against Philly, and there are probably a couple more tough games in there, but they look really good. I mean, the Colts are not that good. Since Jeff Saturday came in, you can't really expect too much out of the Colts. They're just not that great of a team. They have a couple guys around, but injuries have really hurt them. But the Cowboys beat the brakes off of them. They really just were unstoppable in the fourth quarter, 33-0. The Cowboys will end the season pretty strong, I think.
Yeah, I like to believe the same thing. As a Cowboys fan, I like to believe the same thing. But then again, you look at their roster and the very little depth they have in the secondary, especially with Anthony Brown going down. He hasn't been fantastic, but the depth that they have is so thin that it's something to worry about going forward. And they're very inconsistent as well. So to keep up with that going forward is something to keep an eye on as they go through the home stretch. But moving over to the MLB offseason, the Yankees make their first move of the MLB offseason, and it is not one fans were hoping for, as the Yankees re-sign Brian Cashman to stay as the team's general manager until 2026. This comes in the wake of yet another disappointing postseason run where the Yankees were swept by the Astros in the ALCS. Now fans hope the team will turn their complete undivided attention to re-signing Aaron Judge and bringing in pieces that will bring a World Series to the Bronx for the first time since 2009. Zach, was this a good move for the Yankees?
So it's a matter of opinion if this was a good move. The recent history of the Yankees, 33-27, second in the AL East, and they lost in the ALDS in 2020. 2021, a loss in the wild card. In 2022, a loss in the ALCS. Ben, I'm going to give the floor to you on this one.
I mean, I keep seeing this on ESPN or whatever TV show I'm watching, and it says on the bottom, oh yeah, they re-signed Brian Cashman, and they've had an over 500 record in his 25 years being GM, but they haven't won a World Series in half of those years. So who cares if they've been over 500? They haven't won, and they continue to build this same team that has not had success, and it seems to be the same trend yet again.
We'll take a quick break here on Stick to Sports. Thanks once again to Ben for the fast break. When we come back, Joey, Ben, and I will head into extra innings. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Stick to Sports on WTOP 10.
I think you could build a house here with how many bricks are being laid in this game.
That is a rapid nosedive, and it is at the point of no return, guys.
Jill told me it was Kitty from Glee. Yeah, what is it?
Al Roker.
When you look at the number of disasters in the U.S., chances are every area will deal with some kind of emergency in the next decade. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Welcome back to Major Discussions.
Welcome back to the season finale of Stick to Sports. It is time for Extra Innings. This was supposed to be a punishment episode of Extra Innings. However,
Zach Malmwood came in last place.
Yeah, Zach Malmwood did come in last place, so we will get that punishment eventually. But right now, we have some more games that we're going to go through, and they will carry over to next season. These will carry over. We'll come back. We'll have to look them up, search them up. But first, we're going to start with college basketball. College basketball, number 8 Alabama versus number 1 Houston. Joey.
This is neutral site. Neutral site.
Give me Alabama. Just because I haven't started watching too much college basketball yet this season, but I know that a lot of number 1 teams have been falling. Houston's not the number 1 team in the country.
All right, Houston's going to win this one. They are the number 1 team in the country. Haven't lost. I get it. They haven't played a tough schedule, but their defense is one of the best in the nation. They're going to lock down Alabama.
Joey's been very good this year, so I'm going to go with Joey. I'm going with Alabama.
In case you can't tell who's been watching the college basketball so far this year, Zach with all the analysis. I was at like a 71% clip, which is insane.
All right, number 10 Arizona versus number 14 Indiana. Zach, who you got in this one?
Neutral site. I'm going with Indiana. Indiana has more experience. Trace Jackson Davis. Remember the name.
That was my exact point on this. I like Trace Jackson Davis. Had a great March last year. Was phenomenal last season for the Hoosiers. Give me the Hoosiers in this one as well.
Yeah, I like Indiana more than Arizona, so I will agree with Indiana. So we'll move on to.
We all agree now.
You mean you like them like the state better, or like the team?
No, I like the team.
Okay.
I like the school better.
That was an honest question.
Number 13 Maryland versus number 7 Tennessee. I'm assuming
Joey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give me the Vols. I mean, of course. Like, what else? Who else would I say?
Okay.
Go Vols.
All right. Tennessee lost to Colorado earlier in the season. They're not that good. Maryland's undefeated. Go Maryland.
I'm also good. I'm also going to go with Maryland in this one. I do like Maryland's basketball program more than Tennessee's.
Has there ever been a different time where I said the Vols are winning and these two didn't? Yeah, remember that Alabama game?
Okay, continue. We're going to move to the NFL. Jets at Bills. Bills minus 9.5. Joey?
Second and third best teams in New York go to battle. The Buffalo Bills hold down the home field and get the victory.
That's just untrue.
The second and third best team, even though
Joey.
This other team just tied last week.
Yeah, they didn't lose.
It's the Bills are going to win. The Jets are covering. 9.5 is too much, boys.
Yeah, with their defense?
Oh, yeah.
With their defense.
Sauce Gardner. He's going to town. Watch out, Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see it.
He locked down Justin Jefferson last week.
Diggs is better.
That's no.
Who's your pick?
No. I'm going to go with the Bills. I'm going to go with the Bills. I mean, I think you have to pick the Bills.
You have to.
But I agree with Zach. The Jets are going to cover the 9.5 spread.
Mike White magic is done.
No.
It's the same thing as Fitzpatrick. Did you get him one good game?
Okay. He was good.
Go,
Either way,
no,
Eagles
next.
minus 7.5 at the Giants. Zach, we're going to start with you.
Eagles and the points. How about that?
How about them apples?
The Eagles are going to win this game, without a doubt.
And the points.
I don't hate the minus 7 because the Titans are, at the start of the season, weren't better than the Giants when the Giants beat them, but right now they're better than the Giants. The Giants are playing with house money again, with how many wins they already have. The Eagles are going to win this game. The Giants are going to have 7 wins. I'll be fine.
I mean, I want the Giants to win because we need the Eagles to lose, but the Eagles are going to
win.
The Cowboys.
Ben's on the Cowboys.
Yeah. The Eagles are winning this one handily. Aaron Judge landing spot.
We all hope it's New York.
No. We need realistic answers here. Yeah, let's be real.
Okay, well, shout out to John Heyman today.
Arson Judge.
I think he's. I hate to say it, guys. He's going to the Giants. He's going to the Giants. He's going home.
I'm going to go a little outside the box here.
Oh, God.
You know where Aaron Judge is going? You know who just got free cap space? The Los Angeles Dodgers. Trey Turner's gone.
Wow.
Judge to the Dodgers. I wanted to come back to the Yankees. Aaron Judge, please come home. Please come home. Please stay in the Bronx. He's going to go to L.A.
All right. Then I guess I get to pick the Yankees, which is great. Let's go. I get to pick you. He's going back to the Yankees. Great.
We're on your side.
Awesome.
Please, Aaron.
Awesome.
Please, Aaron, come home.
Goodbye.
Everybody, Zach Malmwood, Ben Diamond, they've been phenomenal co-hosts all year. Everybody in the back, whether it's your first night or the people that have been here all semester that can't make it tonight. Zach Newsey's running around out here filling in tonight. Our crew, last year, this season, whether you've been here one night or all nights, we appreciate it. These two guys have been great. Shout out to the Malmwood family for watching.
Thank you, Brian Burrows. Thank you, Mike Griswold.
That's it.